Hey, what's going on? Sean back with you guys for another video. It's funny because yesterday I made a rant video on the same subject, and it was like 10 minutes long, and then when I was done, something happened. The video just disappeared somewhere into the ether. My phone ate it. It's never happened before, so I just took that as a sign, but I'm going to do it again today. So I want to talk about what you should be making as a professional musician, what you should charge. Now, before I get into that, we need to talk about some context. If you're just a weekend guy, you're not a pro, I can understand you wanting to get out there and charge, whatever you can make just to get out there and be able to play and bring friends out, get your family out and watch you play and this and that. And I mean, that's fine. I used to be pissed off at you guys for doing that, for undercutting the rest of us, bringing the rates down. But in truth, it's never really affected me, because if you're good at what you do, if you're a professional, if you are a cut above those weekend warrior types, and no offense to you if that's your thing, you're going to get paid for it by at least some of the places, and those are going to be the establishments that you want to do business with anyway. And certainly any resort type gig or high-end type gig, for the most part, is going to hire professionals. So, but let's go back. I started playing professionally like in the mid 80s. My first professional gig, though, with a band, as far as like a road band. I was 17. I went on the road with a band for a year. I was 17 and 18. You could do this in the 80s. You could just say you're, 21, or wink, kind of thing. And all my musician friends at the time, who were older than me, who started playing in the 70s, and even in the 60s, believe it or not, said they used to make $100 a night. Which, if you're young, you don't realize, but, gas was like 80 cents a gallon. A candy bar was 25, 30 cents. Things were cheap. McDonald's hamburger was like 69 cents, 60 cents maybe back then. So $100 was a lot of money in like the 70s. It was still a lot of money in the 80s. It was good money when your rent was $300 a month. 25 years ago, in the mid 90s, we were still making $100 a night for a band member. Maybe $150 for the band leader. I used to make maybe $150 playing solo. That was good money. My rent was $400 a month in my one bedroom with my girlfriend at the time. I had no car payments, no student loans. There were no cell phone bills back then. There was no internet really yet. It was AOL, was CompuServe starting. It's a hell of a lot more expensive today to do anything. The same apartments that used to go for $400, $500, $600 a month in the mid 90s are now close to $2,000 where I live. So, and band pay is still $100 a night, at $100 to $150 a night. If you're like the best band around, best club band around, as far as packing people in, friends of mine are in one of those bands, and they charge $150 a man per night, and they're a 5-piece, believe it or not. So they can make $750 a night. And I was making that in the 90s in one of my bands, in clubs. So even if you're in the best band and you could always get $125, $150 a man, that means your pay in 40 to 50 years, say almost 50 years, your pay has gone up 50%. So in other words, you've gone from $100 a night to $150 a night, while everything is huge orders of magnitude more expensive. I mean, the average family made $10,000 a year in 1970, and that was with just the father working. And you could have a really good standard of living in the suburbs with a house, take care of your entire family on that. You can't do that on 100,000 now. 100,000, 10 times the money with both parents working. So, as an industry, our money has not. We've probably lagged behind. I can't think of any industry where the disparity in income comparatively over the decades has literally been worse than as a professional musician. So keep that in mind before you get into this. But also keep in mind that we are now in the gig economy, so it's really an easy, good, gig in the gig economy. But that's a separate subject. I've made videos on that. But so what you should be charging today, if you play solo piano, solo acoustic, solo with tracks, it doesn't matter. Where I was playing on the beach yesterday, there were numerous people playing solo piano and guitar with tracks behind them. I was the only one that doesn't play with tracks behind them. I don't need them. I don't like them. It's not what I do. And people always comment that, you're real. You're playing guitar and singing. But if you're doing a 3 to 4 hour gig, it should be $200 to $250 minimum, depending on the place. Are you going to always get that? No. Sometimes I'll play 3 hours and get $175. But if it's regular and the tips are good, it's worth it. And I could talk about the tips as well, because the tips have been dismal across the board lately this summer. And they're just, the less people have cash on them, the worse tips have gotten. I did get a $10 tip on my Venmo, because on my tip jar I have a big QR code with my Venmo. You can just take a picture of it. It'll take you right there and you can tip me, which I suggest everybody do. I'm actually going to investigate more avenues for people, Zelle, PayPal, whatever, for people to be able to, because they want to tip you. If they're getting value out of your performance, they want to tip you. It's just people don't carry cash anymore, and I know this because I don't carry cash. I have to actually keep dollar bills in my truck now to tip at drive-thrus, or to, if I'm getting a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. I want to tip if the service is well, because I know that they make shit money, and it's cool. People want to tip you as a musician as well. So we have to be able to, we got to change with our changing society to help them facilitate that desire. And it helps your pocketbook. Make an extra 10, 12 grand a year in tips. Shh. But anyway, as far as what you should charge solo, you should shoot for at least 200. And that's for 3 hours. I don't like to play 4 hours anymore. One of my steady 2-day-a-week gigs is 4 hours, but I've kind of turned it into a 3-hour gig in that 4 hours. But that's what I've done. You do what you got to do. You fight the fight as best you can in this business. But if you're a band, you absolutely should shoot for. Your typical club out there is still paying $100 a man. Literally for 50 years, the same money. You could actually make a living as a musician 30, 40, 25, 50 years ago. Do very well, support a family. Now you can't really in a band anymore. Even when we were doing stuff in Orlando, and we were doing a 5-night-a-week gig there, it was still $150 a man. I was running sound for that when I first moved back to Florida, to the Orlando area from Nashville. And I just was taking any gig I could get. I had to go back to work. So, across the board, the industry's lagging. But that doesn't mean if you're a professional, you should always apply pressure. I always ask for more than I know that they're willing to pay. That way, once in a while, if they see my value, they'll pay me. But as far as that goes, I can also go on a tirade about the fact that in any other business, you go in and you negotiate your salary. But as a musician, you go in and they're like, oh, we pay $150 a night, or we only pay $100. And you're like, yeah, but I'm better than these other guys. Listen to me, check. Oh, it doesn't matter. We only pay $100. Even the agent I work for, I still only work for the same money as everyone else works for, when I'm continuously, lauded as the best guy there. I do get the private work that comes in and things like that. But I told the agent, I'm like, you're blowing smoke up my ass. Don't sit here and tell me I'm your number one guy, your best guy, if I make the same money as everybody else. You know, this is the United States. We're not communists. You should get the most money as you deserve and that you can get out of anybody. And agents are so bad, they treat you like communists. They literally pay you the same as everyone else. They don't care. So, you know, while I've made money with agents, I've actually had more of a pain in the ass time dealing with them over the years as well. So if you can book yourself and you know how to talk to club owners and managers, that's going to be your best bet always. So don't sell yourself short. It does suck that our industry is lagging behind in pay. And ever since the shutdowns, a lot of these gigs have never come back. They were the first thing that they cancel and the last thing that they ever bring back, if ever. Even some of these resorts I play, they cancel entertainment. The resorts themselves never closed. They opened up back to full capacity, everything. Some of them never brought the entertainment back. You know, that's their prerogative. We know and we believe that the experience is going to be lesser without the entertainment. And it's not a huge expense. This resort I played, this particular resort I played, their hotel rooms are $600 a night. And that's like, you know, a good deal. Their bar bills are what they would pay me for 4 hours. So it's really no skin off their back paying us. But, you know, greed is a thing in the corporate world. And once they get a taste of not having to pay for something, they don't want to pay for it anymore. So, you know, there's still good gigs out there. I made a video on it. Move to Florida if you're a professional musician, you want to make a living. You know, swallow your pride. Put your ego aside. Yeah, you might have lived in Nashville. Yeah, you might have toured with Jake Owen. Or you might have been the band leader for, you know, Charlie Daniels. Or that, really, you're probably retired by now. But just swallow your pride. If you're a pro, move down here. Move to Tampa. Move to Naples, Sarasota. Move to, you know, southeast Florida. No further south than maybe mid to north Palm Beach County. If you want to move south of that, that's fine. It's not my thing. It's a little bit too urban. But anywhere on the coast of Florida. And if you're good, you can make, at the very least, you could drive Uber a few days a week and gig a few days a week and make good money. Especially if you retired from another job in a blue state and you want to get the hell out of the tyranny. You move to Florida. But anyway, don't sell yourself short. Hopefully you're making enough money to still live, and we're fighting the good fight every single day. The more I learn, the more I'm going to bring it to this channel and tell you about it. If anybody has any questions, comments, obviously leave it in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But this is Sean Mormelo, SeanMormelo.com. And I've got Continuum Tribute. It's my journey band. I've got videos on my site, all that stuff. You can see what I do. I've got a Facebook as well, and blah, 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 blah. So we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.